A strict routine can look like discipline, but if your output is dropping, your routine might be the problem. Here's the trap. You tighten the schedule to feel in control. More rules, more tracking, fewer breaks. And for a week or two, it feels amazing. Then the weird stuff starts. You get slower. You procrastinate more. Small tasks feel heavy. And you blame yourself, so you tighten it again. That loop is what we're breaking. A productive routine is supposed to reduce friction. It should protect your attention, your energy, and your decision-making. When it's too strict, it does the opposite. It creates constant self-monitoring, constant micro-failure, and constant recovery costs. So as we go through these warning signs, don't treat them like personality flaws. Treat them like system feedback. Your routine is giving you data, and the goal is not to be looser. The goal is to be effective. Moving to slide 2. Warning sign number 1 is constant rule checking. You're not doing the work. You're managing the rules around the work. It sounds like, did I start at the exact time? Did I follow the exact sequence? Did I keep the streak? Did I do the full block even though I'm clearly stuck? That mental overhead matters. Every time you check the routine, you pull attention away from the task, and you create a background anxiety that you might be doing it wrong. That anxiety is a tax. A healthy routine fades into the background. It's like good lighting in a room. You don't think about it, you just work. If you notice you're spending more time planning, tracking, and correcting than producing, that's not a motivation issue. That's the routine becoming the main project. A simple test. If the routine disappeared for one day, would you feel free to work, or would you feel lost and guilty? Lost and guilty is a sign the structure is too tight. Moving to slide 3. Second warning sign. Your routine has zero slack. Everything is scheduled edge to edge. On paper, that looks efficient. In real life, it's fragile. Slack is not laziness. Slack is the buffer that absorbs reality. A call runs long. You hit a hard problem. Your focus dips. You need a reset. Without slack, every small delay becomes a schedule failure. And then you start rushing. Rushing is expensive. You make more mistakes. You avoid deep work because it threatens the timeline. You choose tasks that fit the clock, not tasks that move the needle. The strict routine then creates a constant feeling of being behind, even if you're doing fine. A practical way to spot this: if one unexpected event can ruin your entire day plan, the plan is too tight. A productive system should bend and still work. Think of Slack as shock absorbers. You don't install them because you love bumps. You install them because bumps are guaranteed. Moving to slide 4. Third warning sign. You can't switch tasks without friction. A strict routine often locks you into a sequence. First this, then that, then that. The moment something changes, your brain stalls. You feel irritated. You resist. Or you waste time trying to force the original plan. That's a sign your routine is acting like a rail track instead of a map. Productive people don't just manage tasks, they manage transitions, starting, stopping, and restarting. If your routine makes transitions rigid, it increases what psychologists call switching costs, the mental effort to reorient. You'll notice it as needing a long warm-up for every block, feeling like you must finish properly before moving on, or avoiding a quick admin task because it would break the flow of the schedule. Ironically, flexibility can protect deep work. If you can smoothly move a block, you don't have to abandon it, you just relocate it. If your routine punishes adaptation, you'll start defending the routine instead of defending the outcome. Moving to slide 5. Fourth warning sign. Your routine makes you avoid feedback. This one is sneaky. Strict routines often reward completion, not truth. You get the dopamine hit from checking boxes, so you pick tasks that are easy to finish and easy to measure. But the work that actually improves your productivity is often messy. Reviewing what failed, looking at numbers you don't like, rewriting something you thought was done, having a hard conversation. Those don't fit neatly into a rigid plan. So you start protecting the routine from reality. You keep doing the scheduled tasks, even when the results say you should change direction. A sign of this is when you say, "I don't have time to review." I don't have time to think. I just need to execute. Execution without feedback becomes drift. A strong routine has built-in checkpoints, short reviews that ask, what produced value? What created stress? What should be removed? If your routine has no place for that, it will slowly become a machine that produces activity, not progress. Moving to slide 6. Fifth warning sign: your routine treats energy like it's constant. A strict plan often assumes you'll have the same focus at 9 a.m. as you do at 3 p.m. Same willpower, same creativity, same patience. But your brain doesn't work like that. Attention fluctuates. Stress changes your capacity. Sleep quality matters. Food timing matters. Even the type of work you did an hour ago matters. If your routine ignores that, you'll start forcing high cognitive tasks into low energy windows, and then you label yourself as lazy or distracted. A more productive approach is to match task type to energy level. Deep work when you're sharp, admin when you're flat, and recovery when you're cooked. You'll know your routine is too strict when you keep pushing the same block, failing, and then trying to fix it with more pressure. Pressure is not the same as capacity. A routine should be a framework that responds to energy, not a judge that punishes you for having a human nervous system. Moving to slide 7. Sixth warning sign: you're scared of breaking the streak. Streaks can be useful. They create momentum, but a strict routine turns the streak into your identity. And then one missed day feels like failure, not data. That creates all or nothing behavior. If you can't do the full routine, you do nothing. Or you do a token version just to keep the streak alive, even if it adds no value. Productivity is not a moral score. It's an output and recovery cycle. A healthier mindset is, protect the habit, not the exact form. If you can't do the full workout, do mobility. If you can't do the full planning session, write the next 3 actions. If you can't do deep work, do setup. When the routine is too strict, there's no minimum viable version. There's only pass or fail. If you feel anxiety about missing a day, that's a sign the system is brittle. A strong system expects misses and has a clean way to restart. Moving to slide 8. Seventh warning sign: your routine eliminates play and curiosity. This matters more than people think. Curiosity is not a hobby. It's a productivity engine. It's what helps you notice better methods, better tools, and better questions. A strict routine often says, only planned work counts. Only measurable work counts. Only scheduled learning counts. So you stop exploring. You stop reading outside your lane. You stop experimenting with a new workflow. And slowly your work gets stale. You keep executing the same approach, even when it's no longer effective. This is how people become busy and stuck at the same time. Curiosity also reduces resistance. When you're genuinely interested, you need less willpower to start. If your routine makes you feel boxed in, add a small explore block. Not a reward, a system component. Even 20 minutes of trying a different approach can unlock hours of progress later. When strictness kills curiosity, productivity turns into compliance. And compliance is a weak fuel source. Moving to slide 9. Eighth warning sign: you're optimizing micro habits while macro goals drift. This is classic strict routine behavior. You perfect the morning routine. You perfect the app setup. You perfect the calendar colors. You perfect the tracking. But the big outcomes, the project shipped, the skill improved, the revenue, the portfolio, the health markers, those are not moving. Micro-optimization feels productive because it's controllable. Macro progress is uncertain. It involves risk, exposure, and sometimes rejection. So a strict routine can become a way to hide from the real work while still feeling disciplined. A simple diagnostic question: if you could only keep 3 recurring blocks in your week, which ones directly create the outcome you care about? If your answer is mostly maintenance, your routine is overbuilt. A productive routine is outcome-led. It starts with the result, then builds the minimum structure needed to repeat the behaviors that create it. When strictness takes over, the routine becomes a shrine. You maintain it, You protect it, and you forget why it exists. Moving to slide 10. Ninth warning sign. Small deviations trigger outsized guilt. You eat later than planned, you miss a block, you take a longer break, and your brain reacts like you broke the whole system. That guilt isn't just emotional. It's cognitive load. It follows you into the next task. You ruminate, you try to make up time, and the day becomes a recovery mission instead of a productive day. Strict routines often create a hidden rule. If I'm not perfect, I'm not serious. But productivity is closer to steering than to scoring. You're constantly correcting course. A good routine makes course correction normal and cheap. If guilt is high, it usually means the routine has too many hard edges, too many binary rules, too many must statements. You want more gradients, better, best, minimum. You want ranges instead of exact times. You want rules that assume variability. When the system is compassionate but firm, you spend less time judging yourself and more time doing the next useful thing. Moving to slide 11, 10th warning sign. Your recovery is scheduled like a task, and it keeps getting skipped. A strict routine often treats breaks as optional. Nice to have, only if everything else is done. But recovery is not a reward. It's a requirement for stable output. If you regularly push through lunch, stack meetings, or work until you're mentally blurry, you're not being disciplined. You're borrowing from tomorrow's focus, and the cost shows up as slower thinking, more emotional reactivity, more cravings for easy dopamine, more scrolling, more procrastination. A good routine protects recovery with the same seriousness as work blocks. Not huge breaks necessarily. Short resets. A walk. A meal without multitasking. A few minutes of quiet. If your routine can't tolerate recovery, it's not designed for a human operator. And here's the paradox. Adding recovery often increases total output because it reduces the time you spend stuck, rereading, and forcing yourself through fog. Moving to slide 12, 11th warning sign. Your routine collapses the moment life gets messy. A work trip, a sick day, a family obligation, a surprise deadline, and suddenly the whole system is unusable. That tells you the routine is overfitted. It only works in perfect conditions. Overfitted routines rely on precise timing and ideal energy. They don't have modular pieces. They don't have fallback modes. A resilient routine has levels, a full day plan for normal days, a reduced plan for busy days, and an emergency plan for chaos days. The goal on chaos days is not peak performance, it's continuity. Keep the machine warm, protect the essentials, prevent the spiral. So if your routine tends to break and then you disappear for a week, that's not a character flaw, that's a design flaw. Build a routine that expects disruption, because disruption is not an exception, it's part of the environment you're operating in. Moving to slide 13. Now let's turn this into a fix. Not a total overhaul, just a smarter structure. Start with one principle. Replace rigid rules with flexible standards. Rigid rule. Start deep work at 8 o'clock sharp for 90 minutes. Flexible standard. Get 60 to 90 minutes of deep work before noon in 1 or 2 blocks. Notice what changed. The outcome stayed. The constraint loosened. Next, add tiers. Minimum, target, and stretch. Minimum is what you do on chaos days. Target is your normal. Stretch is for rare high-energy days. Then build slack intentionally. If you plan 6 hours of focused work, schedule 5. Give yourself a buffer block that can absorb spillover. And finally, add a weekly review that is short and honest. What worked? What created friction? What should be removed? That's how you keep discipline without turning your routine into a cage. Moving to slide 14. Here's a quick reset you can run this week. Pick one routine that feels strict. Just one. Morning, work blocks, fitness, food, whatever. Step 1. Identify the purpose. What is this routine trying to protect? Focus, energy, health, progress. Step 2. Find the brittle rule, the one that creates guilt or collapse when you miss it. Step 3. Replace it with a range, or a tier, or a minimum viable version. Step 4. Add one buffer, a 30-minute block that can move, or a catch-up slot that absorbs the unexpected. And Step 5. Track one metric for 2 weeks, not 10. 1. Output, stress, sleep quality, completion rate. Choose the one that matters. If the routine change increases output and lowers friction, keep it. If it lowers output but reduces stress a lot, that might still be a win depending on your season. If you want, leave a comment with A or B. A means your routine is too loose. B means it's too strict. And if you'd like more scripts like this that build practical systems without burnout, subscribe. This information is not a substitute for medical advice. Peak performance begins with optimized biology.